And this is where we kind of stop. So you said, considering how much domestic violence there is in the world, you don't think it is very healthy to spread rhetoric about women to mentally damaged men. And we were exploring that a little bit. So first, when it comes to mentally damaged man, hold on.
Oh, sorry. Sorry.
When it comes to mentally damaged men, I'll just defer to Hitchens' razor. That which is asserted without evidence can be dismissed without evidence. You have no evidence that my viewership is mentally damaged. I reject it completely.
That's fine. I'd say, like, the comments where it's really hateful, I'd say those people are pretty mentally damaged. So, same with some of the people on the show.
Is this just you and her? Just for okay.
What rhetoric am I spreading?
It's not really you. It's some of the guests you have, which means it is kind of sort of related to you, and it's just like a generalized term.
I'm responsible for what my guests say.
I'm not saying you. I don't have a problem with you, Brian. I think you're pretty nice.
Hold on. Your claim is, I, sole proprietor, whatever podcast, my business, my show. You said that that the show is just as harmful as OnlyFans in society. Mm-hmm. Okay. So you might not have, like, maybe you find me more agreeable, but what rhetoric is being spread?
Just generalizing people, and I don't freaking know.
Articulate
I have to
something.
bring up past episodes to remember all of this. You have a lot of episodes, and I have a short-term, memory.
What generalizations?
Just about what women want, and that we use people for money. Like,
never said that, but okay.
I didn't say you said that.
Who said that then? Andrew doesn't say that either.
When you say
into the mic, please.
People you've had on the show.
Who? Which ones?
I don't know most of the people you've had on the show's names other than him.
Okay, what?
The people in the comments. When you say that women want status and money,
is that wrong?
No, I don't believe that. And certain
because
people, transactional people want that, but not the average woman doesn't want a transactional situation. We want love and like a partnership, not status. I'd rather not date somebody with status. I think that they're more likely to be like abusive or more likely to not.
Who's more likely to be abusive?
Oh, statistically, you're more likely, and if you have a position of power, to be like narcissistic or sociopathic, psychopathic, because you have the charisma and the look it up. It's actually true. I would prefer somebody to be normal, and I'm normal, and I just don't think that's represented a lot on the show. Is just normal people dating.
Okay, so you think it's going to lead to domestic violence if
it can't? When you like,
you gotta let me finish. Sorry. Can you just let me finish a sentence without interrupting?
I'm sorry, I don't mean to. I'm so sorry.
I get you don't mean to. How about you just make the correction? So you're saying that the rhetoric on this show is going to lead to domestic violence against women. How?
Like, saying that women should submit, and
how would that lead to domestic violence?
He's saying that there's
I say women should be submissive, so I'll have to engage you.
Submissive is fine. I'm fine with submissive, but Andrew,
you just said women should submit. That will lead to domestic violence.
No, I'm trying to explain my answer. When Andrew goes to the extremes of saying, oh, is it really submitting if you have limits to that, which are like boundaries, like you have boundaries, that is when it becomes dangerous.
Nobody advocates for no boundaries.
Well, it kind of sounds like that when you say...
It sounds to me like you just always hear what you want to hear. Regardless of what's said, you just hear what you want to hear.
You say, you say like multiple times, you say, well, if there's a limit to it, then you're not actually submitting.
That's incorrect. So here's what I'll do.
You said it.
Here's what I'll do instead. I'll let you steel man the position that you think I have, and then I'll tell you if it's correct or not.
You've said it multiple times.
Said what?
That if you're like, oh, if women have limits to their submission, are they really submitting?
Oh, yeah. Really?
I've never heard him say that.
I'm going to send you the clips.
Send it.
I'll have to.
Send it. You won't, because it's not there.
Episodes, I've watched it.
It's not my position at all. My position is not. So
I've watched it.
Okay. Do I give prescriptions for when women should get divorced in a Christian marriage? Do I tell you what the prescriptions are?
I don't remember.
You don't know?
Abuse.
Suddenly you don't know what my positions are? You know all of them except the ones that I give?
I'm assuming it's Christian beliefs.
No,
Based on
like
Christian
if
beliefs?
there's abuse, there's abuse, right? Physical abuse. If there's abandonment, right? If there's addiction, these are all grounds.
Well, that's good.
Aren't those all limits?
What about like?
Hang on, aren't those all limits?
Yeah.
Well, I
mean,
thought you just said a second ago that I said there's no
I'm
limits.
just responding to what you say on the show. That was part of your argument. You're not really submissive if you have boundaries.
Wait.
No.
Hold on. I do need to have this exchange.
Okay.
So, what the suggestion here is based on the rhetoric that is espoused on the podcast. Domestic violence is being increased.
I'm not saying it is. I'm saying it like when I hear stuff about a woman should submit, and there's
Why would that increase domestic violence?
if there's no boundaries to that, I think
No boundaries. What?
Well, actually, wouldn't that
No
actually
limits
lead
to
to
that.
a decrease? If there's no boundaries to the submission, would that lead to a
no,
decrease?
because some things that men could ask women to do can be abusive.
Like what? What do you mean? Give me an example of what you're talking about.
Like making someone basically, they have no financial say in anything. They have no say on their body. They have no say on any part of their life, and they're used as labor or sex or whatever, and they can't say no to things.
I don't know. It just sounds like a personal preference to me.
Did you take all the pineapple off your pizza, Andrew? That's ridiculous.
That just sounds like. Do you think that there's women who have a preference where they don't want to make any financial decisions and they just want to do what their husband says?
Yeah, but
Then
there
it,
should be
then it
limits to
can't. Then it's not
everything.
abuse.
No, there should be limits to everything. If a woman's working at home and they don't have money for their own shoes, but they're
That's not your fucking business. That is not your fucking
there's
business.
something called financial
There's something
abuse,
called
and it
mind your
exists.
own fucking business.
There's a lot of
Do you
things
know what?
that
do you
you
know- do you know
talk
what-
on that's
do you-
not your business,
Do you know
and
what?
you still do
Do you know
it.
what business is and how you should mind it? Like it's not
This
for
is a
you.
podcast.
It's not for you to make a determination that
There's
a woman
something
needs
called
to have
financial
her own
abuse.
money for X. How do you determine that? You just make it up.
Because I was a nanny for 10 plus years. I
Oh,
made
you.
way above the
It's
national
because you.
average.
So
and
all
I
women
made
should be like you.
it was a hard job. Why would we get married to you? And then
I wouldn't want you to get married to
not
me.
you. I mean, men in general.
I wouldn't want.
And then
I wouldn't want
not
men in
have-
general to marry you.
When we have jobs, why would we get rid of our jobs?
Why? You're right. I agree. So I don't even understand what the argument is. I completely agree with you. If you are advocating that a woman needs to be able to be sassy pants, I have my own money, I'm a girl boss. Should
Did
you
I
marry?
say that? I'm
should- hang
disabled.
on.
I don't have that
Should
much
you
money.
marry? Should you marry her if she's not in alignment with your goals? The answer is fucking no. You shouldn't. It's very simple.
Yeah, alignment with goals is different than getting married. And
My goal is to have a woman, let's say, who submits to me.
yeah, submission is fine when it's not abusive.
What? Well, abusive is perspective. What is abusive? Is me making the financial decision that you can't go spend money? Is that abusive?
It can be. If
Yeah, so it's
possible.
kinda nebulous.
Anything can be abusive if it's to an extreme.
It's perspective, right? That's perspective.
No, anything can be abusive to an
So
extreme.
let's say you go out and you spend $4,000 you really shouldn't have spent.
See, that's an extreme. Extreme that I'd say no.
Let's say you go spend $4,000 you shouldn't have spent, so I cut off your credit cards and you can't spend anything. Is that abusive?
No, if we can't afford it.
No, it's not abusive, right? So I
No.
guess cutting women off from money isn't always abusive, is it?
I didn't say it was, did I?
So the thing is like having alignment and perspective of if a man wants to make the financial decisions, that's not only not abusive, but what you do is you give this like nebulous idea. If the man so it's baked into the hypothetical. The man shouldn't be abusive. If he's abusive, it's like, yeah, sure, but give me examples of what you're talking about.
If a woman's being abused and she has
See what I mean? If a woman's being abused, what is that though?
let's say being hit or
Yeah, I don't advocate women get hit.
I'm saying if they're put in a financial situation where they cannot leave and they are not getting their fundamental basic things taken care of.
Like what? They can't have food?
Clothes.
So you
That's
think that I
financial
advocate?
abuse.
So wait, you think that I advocate that women who are dependent on
I
men,
didn't say you did.
that the men don't feed them or get them clothes?
There are abusive.
There are
I'm saying
not.
there's
No, nobody's ever advocated for that. That's
I didn't
just
say you
fucking
advocated
ridiculous.
for
Then
that.
what? What is the abuse you're talking about then?
So your statement
Uh-huh.
about submission, you're not really submitting.
Yeah.
If you have objections at all, then you're not really submitting. I heard you say that like multiple shows. That's what have a problem with.
Yeah, even though that's never been said.
I'll send it to you after the show.
Mm-hmm.
It was recent episodes.
Yeah, the idea here is things like this. You can't decide what school Junior goes to. You should defer to the man. If you don't defer to the man, you're not actually submitting to him. That is true. Yes.
I agree that's true, but in argument, you said you're not really submitting if you have objections at all.
No, that's never happened.
I'm going to send it to you.
In fact,
I
I've said
promise.
multiple times that the compulsion of submission has to comport with reason. So a man can't ask you to do things like jump off a building. And you go, no. And you go, you're not really fucking submitting then. Like,
I'll
what?
send you the clips, but it sounded pretty bad when I
Yeah.
heard it.
That's because you hear what you want to
You
hear.
legit said that, though.
No, I doubt
Well,
it.
since we don't have the clip, then I don't.
I'll send it to you afterwards, but I
That's fine.
promise.
That's fine. So I need to have some back and forth here. So, again, the harmful rhetoric from the show is leading to increases in domestic violence
I
against
didn't
women.
say it was. I said it could.
Okay, you being on the show could lead to an increase in like male murders. I don't know how to contend with like it could something.
I think
could happen.
if someone
Okay.
doesn't have good morals, then they shouldn't be thinking that women should submit to them. And the majority of these men,
It's just incoherent. Okay.
how is it incoherent?
It's just all
If you
over
don't
the
have
place. I'm gonna
morals, you
move on to
shouldn't.
the
No,
next
if you
thing.
don't have morals, you shouldn't be
Whose
thinking
morals?
that a woman should
Whose morals?
submit.
Whose morals? Yours?
Just normal morals in society.
Based on who?
Like don't scream and cuss at a woman. Don't
Why-
isolate
wait, why
them.
not?
Don't
Wait, why not?
isolate them
Why
from.
Wait,
not?
why not?
Okay.
What if she cusses and yells at you?
Well, then you shouldn't do that. Then y'all should both leave because it's toxic.
What if you tell a woman to shut up? Can you tell your wife to shut up?
Yeah.
No, okay, well then,
All
yeah,
right.
I
I
don't-
guess.
seems fine to me.
You said men with no virtue are getting unhealthy.
Yes. Dude, I'm sorry.
Men with no virtue are getting unhealthy ideas about relationships and putting women in danger.
Yes. That's the same thing we were talking about before.
You're talking about my audience?
Yeah, a lot of them don't have virtue. If you're going around
What
hoeing
evidence
around,
do you have that my audience doesn't have virtue? I'm prepared to take the position my audience has greater virtue than the general average population.
Even more.
Who's
virtuous,
right?
yeah.
Who's right? So, okay,
Well-
what evidence do you have for that?
because,
Sorry, go ahead.
because first of all, the things that they're saying, but
Because the things are said, ergo, audience has no virtue. I say bad
And-
thing, audience has no virtue. How does it
because
follow?
when y'all say stuff like women don't care about body count, and
The majority of women don't, but okay.
we do in the way that men are going around lying to women to get them to sleep with them. Like, let's say her case where she was
That's iffy in her case.
it's very toxic when you're comparing women's body count when like a large portion of the time we're not going around being horny. We actually want relationships with these people, and men think it's okay to lie to get.
Do you wear makeup?
Yeah, that is a lie. I'm
You're-
covering
you're
a rash right now.
You're lying.
Yeah, but my body is different than my face.
Hello? Can you stop interrupting? Yeah, women lie through wearing makeup.
Yeah.
And that's inducing men who wouldn't otherwise be attracted to these women to
Yeah.
have sex with them. You lie about all manner of your appearance. There's plastic surgery. There's
True.
like wearing certain like the padded bras and shit. Women lie about their physical appearance. Men care a whole lot about how you look. Women lie about it. You induce men to have sex with you that otherwise wouldn't.
True.
Cool.
So, the transgender topic, when you say it's no,
are
this
we
this
going?
correlates.
Okay, all right.
And let me finish. When you say that you would argue that it's SA if a transgender person doesn't say.
Disclose.
Disclose. Did you know that it's actually considered coercion, which is illegal if you want to have sex with someone based on the knowledge that you have of them, and you have sex with them based on a lie. That's actually, if you look it up, it's actually called coercion. So I would argue that it's coercion if like a married man lies to have sex with someone, or someone lies about their entire life.
Then every single human being who's ever lived is a rapist. People lie all the time. I'll stay with you forever. This is and this will be an inducement for this person to have a sexual relationship with them. I'll never leave you. These are things that people say to each other in a relationship. I'll love you forever. I'll never leave you. Invariably, they don't love that person anymore. I don't think somebody, because they've made an utterance of, I will love you forever, they are now compelled to remain in love with that person forever. No. People say these sorts of pufferys in relationships. I don't think that that's like coercive.
I give my body to you based on knowledge that you lied about. It's the same thing as you saying that I give my body to you thinking that you were a woman when you're not. It's coercion. I don't see how one is worse than the other. I think it's both just as wrong.
Just clarifying, so when it comes to the trans thing, if they're trans and they don't disclose, that's like coercive, or
you said in the past that you said that it you would argue that it's SA. Which is the most minor amount of, it is illegal to coerce people into sex. It's illegal. So even though it's socially acceptable, if you look up the laws, it's actually illegal to do that. No one gets arrested for that. Most people don't get arrested for any SA. But if you look up coercion, it is considered SA.
So do you think that if a man says to a woman, I love you, right, and he's lying, and then she sleeps with him, should he go to jail?
No, I don't think they should. I'm just saying it is illegal. If he thinks it's SA to lie about that to get into bed.
Since you brought up the trans thing, you said it is scientifically proven that gender isn't only male and female.
That's,
How would it be scientifically proven?
Because there's...
like, when you say science, are you talking about biology?
Yeah.
For gender?
Gender
doesn't pertain to biology.
It's a social construct.
No, I mean, not whatever. Sex.
Well, sex.
That's what I mean by sex.
Okay. You said there are more intersex people than trans people out there. Yeah. I don't know if that's actually true, but you said there are males.
No, that's probably true.
It is true, but no one cares about that.
It's because of the broad scope of so it depends on what you classify as intersex. So there's two competing studies. But anyway, okay.
You said there are males that can have babies?
Technically, they would have to inseminate themselves, but it is technically possible for intersex person to get pregnant with their own baby. To impregnate themselves, but yeah, men do have babies.
Is this actually an intersex phenomenon? I'm not sure.
The majority of the population don't know. Look it up. It's not taught in biology.
I'm not disputing it.
It's
I'm
true.
just going to clarify it.
Yeah, it's true.
When you say intersex, that doesn't actually mean you have two sexes. So things can fall under intersex, like a man has cancer, they remove his testicles, it ups estrogen, and he gets man boobs. And that's considered intersex by some criteria. So when it's gone through and it's reevaluated for, I don't remember if this was, I think the study's called Stiegel, but they went through and reevaluated it, and they took it from the absurd percentage they had down to like 0.1%, which was actually, which was actually intersex conditions.
It was 0.4%.
You're not going to 0.04. That. There's a ton to get through. So, okay.
Yeah.
You made a criticism about I make generalizations.
Yeah.
Do you you avoid generalizations completely?
Yeah, I mean, I try to.
Let me read some of your notes here. You said, I think this would even be a generalization. I just read it. Men with no virtue are getting unhealthy ideas about relationships, putting women in danger. You mentioned the thing about domestic violence, and that men watching the show would be more inclined to like domestic violence. That seems like a generalization. You said that men thinking that, these are your words, that they only need to work a full-time job, and then they can just chill and play World of Warcraft in all their free time is the issue. That seems like a generalization towards men. You said men thinking that they only need to work a full-time job, then they can just chill and play World of Warcraft in all their free time is the issue. So here's the generalization you made. You were saying essentially that men, in order to get women, men think wrongly that all they need to do is have a full-time job and they have to like not do anything besides just chill and play video games. This seems like a total...
That's not what I meant.
Bro,
70%.
they're your fucking words,
Listen,
lady.
I've done.
I can't,
let
if
me
you want to just
explain.
walk back every single position of
No,
yours,
I have
this is your
reasons.
stated, written position.
Yeah, I'm going to tell you the reason.
I can't have a debate with somebody who wants to walk back all their fucking
No,
positions,
70% of divorces are
damn.
from women, right? If you talk to the women who are
Hold on.
having the divorces,
Hold on.
this is what's happening.
Oh, that seems like a generalization.
No.
Yeah, you wrote 70% of marriages are initiated by women, but there's a
It's
reason
my
for that.
research.
You said domestic violence, emotional abuse, financial abuse, cheating, substance abuse, lack of intimacy, and unequal division of household responsibilities. I've seen the stat that says it's 80% of marriages are the divorce is initiated by women. But I'm a little bit, or you said 70% of
It's
marriages, 70% of divorces are initiated by women. What percentage of divorces that are initiated by women fall into domestic violence, emotional abuse, financial abuse, cheating, substance abuse, lack of intimacy, and unequal division of household responsibilities?
I think
All of them?
40% was like qualified as what's the term is just like
Can you
different
scoot your mic
differences.
to the
What's the
edge of the
term they
table?
use? That's like differences.
Can you just scoot your mic to the edge of the table, please?
What's the term they use where it's like differences that you can't. The divorce term. That's
Irreconcilable.
yes.
differences.
So I think 40% was irreconcilable differences, but that's like a broad statement.
So 60% of men who are getting divorced are like abusers.
No. I'd say
That
I
seems
think
like
it was 14%.
That seems like a generalization.
I'd say
Wow, this is some really harmful
14%.
rhetoric that you're putting out there. It's
14%.
going to result in domestic violence towards men from their female spouses.
It's 14% is abuse. From what I looked up, it's 14% is domestic violence. I'm saying if you look at the terms, yeah, the
That's
majority
cool.
of
So
it.
I'm addressing the whole generalization thing that you
I'm not.
accused
I've
me
looked
of
up
doing.
stats.
You said that then y'all men play victims on divorce.
The show.
Who, me?
Yeah, you always bring up that we're stealing your money and
What?
that women are like
Yes,
taking all
divorce.
your money.
When the financial ramifications of divorce disproportionately negatively impact men when it comes to alimony and child support.
That's true. I agree with that. But women in marriage, we lose all of our financial freedom. We don't get disability if we don't
Women
have
do get disability.
not if you don't have work credits. After divorce, I'm disabled. I know this. So if you get married and you get divorced,
Are you being paid alimony?
no. And I live in Texas. We don't have alimony.
Well, I'm not privy to the precise disability laws as it pertains to Texas.
not just talking
and as it
disability.
relates to divorce and the impact divorce might
It's-
have on your
Yeah, is it Social
ability
Security
to, I don't know.
disability?
Oh yeah, you can't get Social Security disability. You can get SSI, which is
interested in
like
that.
$500 a month.
Yeah,
but
you can get Social Security
but
disability.
you get SSI, but you can't get SSDI. SSI is up to $534 a month. SSDI is
No, it doesn't.
it does
I don't know.
matter.
I literally know divorced men who get SSDI.
Yeah, because they have work credits.
Yeah,
You have to have a certain amount of
Oh,
work
I see. So you're
credits.
saying you didn't pay enough into the system?
Yeah, because if you're at home with the children and stuff, and you
have
get
children?
divorced, no, I don't. You said that. Yeah, we're on the argument of
I think I understand.
marriages,
So
right?
the argument, let me just make sure I got it
Yeah.
right. So the argument is women stay at home, so they're not contributing to the workforce.
Yeah.
So since they're not contributing to the workforce, they don't put enough money into Social Security to draw the type of disability they would need if they became disabled.
Yes.
Okay.
And then men are 4 times more likely to leave a woman.
But this would be the same thing with a stay-at-home dad, right?
Yeah, it would be.
Yeah.
I didn't say it
what
wasn't.
was the fake study you were about to cite? Men are more likely to leave their wives if they
4
have like
times.
cancer or something. Is
No,
that
even
bullshit?
like nurses and stuff, they talk about it. It's
Yeah,
not
I don't
like
care
a fake
about the
study.
anecdotal stuff. That study was absolutely debunked. This idea that
okay,
men
fine.
are like 7 times more likely to
I didn't
leave
say
their
it was 4
wives.
times.
Okay, well, the
I
one
think the
I
study
heard,
says 7.
I'm pretty. The study I'm familiar with said.
All I'm saying is that there are issues because we leave the workforce, and it's harder to get a job if you haven't had a job in 20 years and you get divorced.
A hairdresser, when in the early 2000s, she gets divorced 20 years later, she can continue being a hairdresser. There's not going to, she can then she can charge market rate for a haircut.
You have to start off as like a bottom level. You lose your status.
But that just seems like a great deal to me. I don't even understand what the complaint is. So like, if the deal was presented to me, you don't have to work but can stay home, and you stay home for a limited amount of time before your kids require less and less care. The more years that go by, the less time that you actually have to spend caring for the kids, right? And you'll be provisioned for the rest of your life. That's a great fucking deal. That's like a great deal. I don't know what the complaint there is.
It can be, and
if the marriage doesn't break up because the woman doesn't grow boss and say, don't tell me what shoes I can fucking buy, which is what you're trying to say earlier, right? Don't tell me what shoes I can buy.
No.
So your whole criticism was that essentially boiled down to, when I pushed you repeatedly about like, what is the harmful rhetoric? What is the harm I'm causing? Is you make generalizing statements about men. I'll read another generalizing statement you made. You said that y'all men play victims on divorce. Men want us to stay home and raise kids, but don't see any financial value in that.
True.
That seems like a generalization.
I'm saying from what y'all say on the show. I'm making my statements based off what I hear on the show.
Home. I mean, first off, actually, no, there would be a financial value to a woman staying home and raising the kids. That way, it frees you up as the man to go out and kill it and provide for the entire family. But in addition to that, we're not looking at stay-at-home wives or whatever it is through the lens of the financial value of that. We're looking at it through the familial value that you're providing.
Yeah, but from things I've seen on him, on the show, I can't quote you, but you're like laughing like that it was a minuscule amount. Oh, like they clean and do this. Like
I've actually been married and raised tons of kids. You?
No, but I was a nanny for 12 years and worked 60 hours a week.
That's great. I've worked 60 hours a week most of my life.
Raising other people's families, I know.
No, raising my own family. I have my own children. Are you gonna take a shot at me because I'm willing to take care of other people and my own?
What does that have to do with what I said?
So here's the thing, just so that you understand, right? I've raised many children from the age that they were little tiny kids to the age of adulthood. I've raised children. And I'm telling you that it's not that fucking hard. This job that women complain about is not that hard to do. Every year that goes by, it gets less hard than the year before. The same is not true of a man's work.
I mean,
every year that goes by, it doesn't get less difficult than the year before.
I would disagree on a lot of that. Once you put yourself up in higher positions, you should be working.
It's way more. No, do you think that adding responsibility? I'm sorry. So you add responsibility to a man, so he's in a higher position. That's less hard work. I just want to make sure I got that clear.
If you're doing things correctly, then you should be working less. Same as women, kids get older.
No, as you get into positions of authority, your responsibility gets higher. You do more work, not less work.
Does Brian work harder with his podcast and works once a week or whatever? No.
Huh. Brian,
I'm saying you own businesses.
That's fucking crazy.
You own businesses. You're not working.
Women stay at home and own businesses.
Yeah.
They can write. They can do all sorts of things. What are you talking about?
I'm talking about different jobs. Capitalism.
Tell me what you're about to say about mine.
I'm talking about business owners.
Keep the mic at the edge of the table.
It's not comfortable for me. I'm talking about business owners versus.
What was she saying about how
I'm talking about if you're a business owner.
About me. What were you saying about me?
I'm saying that if you're doing it right, you shouldn't have to work as much.
I've been working 80
that's great. If you do it right as a mother, you shouldn't have to work as much.
True.
So what? Right. Wait, so you think I'm like, my job's easy?
No, I didn't say it was easy.
It sounded like
I know social media is hard.
Oh, he does a show once a week.
I'm talking
about
business owners. The farther you get up, you can hire people to allocate those certain things.
So more responsibility, more people to look after.
But you can afford to pay other people to do this.
So you're paying people who are now in an underling management position to you, and then you are overseeing all of them? Yeah.
You hire other people who oversee them.
And then you have to oversee them.
Yeah.
It's like this great
business
train.
People I know, the people I know that are 40 plus who own businesses, they worked really, really hard and worked like 80-hour weeks until they got to the point where they finally didn't have to do that anymore, and they start traveling, they start doing all of
Yes,
all of
that's
that.
true. You can have some of the fruits of the reward, but I guarantee you none of those business people are working less hard than they did 20 years ago. In fact, they're usually working way harder. They're usually way more stressed out. They have way more people who depend on them for a paycheck. When you have people actually depend on you, so imagine this from the man's perspective. Not only do you have your family who depends on you, children who depend on you, wife who depends on you, now you have other people's family who also depend on you. Like me, I have multiple employees. All of their families get fed through me, right? My family gets fed through me. My job has not become less difficult at all. And in fact, as I become more successful, it's going to get more difficult, not less difficult.
Well, I mean, the
What do you
people
do
I've
for
dated. Well, yeah, I own a small bartending company, and
Bartending company. Okay.
yeah, and I'm also getting into Airbnb rentals, and this pertains to that. When you first start
Wait,
out,
do you think I only work one day a week?
No, I didn't say that.
It kind of sounded like you're
cut me
about
off.
to say.
You cut me off before I even got a chance.
No, you were trying to move on. You were zipping on to the next thing like you do.
I was trying to make a point about,
Why did you bring up me having a show once a week?
because I was talking about business owners, and you went from 2 shows a week to 1 show a week, didn't you recently?
And
Yeah, you're working less as a business owner.
I'm actually working just about the same amount.
I mean, I don't know your free time, but
It's not.
I've dated.
It's
I mean,
not,
I'm just saying from
my work time has not been cut in half, even though I've gone down from 2 shows a week to 1 show a week.
Do you hope in your bartending business that you're going to have more employees?
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you think that's going to be less work?
Oh, it's definitely less work because I still get paid whether I work or not, and
Do you think you think it's going to be less work to manage those employees and
Oh, it's
manage your
definitely less
customers
work.
and manage your customers? Do you think so?
yeah. When it pertains to Airbnb, when you first start off, you have to allocate you have to hire all.
Bro, it's so insulting for a woman that I work like 10-hour days every single. I don't take a day off. I haven't vacationed in the past 3 years, and some like entitled woman comes on
How
the
am I
show
entitled?
saying that, oh, you just do 1 show a week. You
I
have no
wasn't-
fucking
You
idea
didn't
how
let me
hard I work.
finish. I'm talking about business owners.
No, it's just really.
He's a business
No.
owner.
It's just really fucking insulting.
You cut
to
me
just
off
basically
in
have
the beginning of
You
it.
just do 1 show a week. You just stroll into the podcast studio.
You
and that's
cut
it.
me
That's so
off,
ridiculous.
and
That's just so
first of all,
frustrating.
how am I entitled? But you cut me off before I even finished what I was saying.
You've cut me off a bunch.
Yeah, but
so.
like that, you're assuming what I was saying before you even let me finish. And how am I entitled?
Hey, I got a vacation.
How am I
recently
entitled,
when I went to
Brian?
Debate Con because they were flying me and Rachel out anyway, so I just went ahead and made that work trip a vacation because the one that I was working at.
From my experience in business is you can pay other people to do certain things to hire you go up, and eventually you become
What does your business bring in a year?
not that much.
Yeah, it's probably not a lot of experience in your business.
I'm talking from other people I know. I'm saying that in general, you can say the higher you go up, the more employees you have, and eventually you don't have to work if you don't want to, and you can if you choose to.
Yeah, usually if you get to the point where you are, I don't know, an extremely rich, extremely wealthy business owner, you have multiple employees, you can outsource most of your stuff, this and that, you're like 60. Okay?
Yeah, I mean,
you're like 60, like 70.
Yeah,
you're not young anymore. You're not expanding your business
No,
anymore.
I get it. When you get
can't.
older, yeah, that's when you start to have the freedoms.
Yeah, but business, here's what actually happens in business. You start small. It sucks. You put your nose to the grindstone. You usually don't get paid for the first 3 years. For the first 3 years, you don't take a dime.
I
And
know
any
that.
dimes you do get, you reinvest it back in the business and equipment costs, things like this. And you do all the work yourself. And then what happens is one day you maybe catch a break and you get a few extra contracts. And you do all those yourself too, reinvest in your business, and you still take no money for another year.
I get that.
Eventually, maybe you get to the point where you're one of the few lucky business owners who can afford to have employees, which is very rare. Most people can't even do that in business. Or if they do, they fail immediately because that's most of the pay that you pay out is going to be to your employees. Right? It's way more work. The more people you add, the more contracts you have, or you wouldn't need employees. It always becomes more work, and they call in sick. Then you have to go in and do their job, and then it does not get easier because you manage more people. It gets harder.